Hey guys, Mr. Fackenthal here again. Today we're going to take notes on Chapter 2, Section 2, which is titled Translations. Translations are also known as slides. We're going to be sliding shapes, points, lines, everything you can think of across the coordinate plane. Alright, so let's get started. So our first key idea today when we start is that a transformation changes a figure into another figure. The new figure is called the image. So right here, we would start with the red figure. Okay, that's the one we start with. We'll slide it to the right, and that new figure is called our image. Okay, so we'll say that this would be the image. We could also call this the pre-image, the one we start with, which makes sense because pre means before. A translation is a transformation in which a figure slides but does not turn. Every point of the figure moves the same distance in the same direction. So we talked about corresponding sides and corresponding angles the other day. So this corresponding vertex would go, if this went just say 12 units to the right, then this corresponding vertex would go 12 units to the right. Same thing with this one, 12 units to the right, 12 units to the right. All of the vertices move the same distance. Okay? Alright, example 1, identifying a translation. We want to tell whether the blue figure is a translation of the red figure. Well, for A, the red figure slides to form the blue figure. Okay, all we would do is slide this figure over. Each vertex would line up. They just slide right over to the corresponding angles. So this is a slide. Okay? B, the red figure has to turn. This one has to turn to form the blue figure. So the blue figure is not a translation of the red figure. Okay, so this one right here, all we have to do is slide it over. This one we have to turn it, so it's not a translation. If we only slide it, we call it a translation. Alright, so let's get to our second key idea of the day. Before we start our key idea, I want to talk about reading our notation. So A, with this little tick mark, is read A prime. We use the prime symbols when naming an image. Alright, so if we start with ABC, we'll have ABC. Oh, let me do that one in red for you, just so we match the picture over here. Alright, so we'll say if we start with ABC, that will be our pre-image. And then we would move on. If it has the prime symbols, that's part of our image. Okay? So our second key idea says translations in the coordinate plane. To translate a figure A units horizontally and B units vertically in a coordinate plane, add A to the x coordinate and B to the y coordinate of the vertices. Positive values of A and B represent translations up and right. So positive would be up and right, and negative would be down and left. Okay? So in algebra, algebraic terms, we would call that, we just get rid of that so it doesn't mess up the picture anymore. We would go from the coordinates x comma y to the coordinates x plus however many units we moved it to the right and up, and then y however many units we move the y coordinate in any direction. In a translation, the original figure is the image and its image are congruent. So because we're only sliding them, they stay the same size and in the same shape, so they stay congruent. Alright, this sounds a lot more complicated than it is. We're going to do some practice in the next two examples. Alright, so let's move on. So our next example, example 2, is going to be translating a figure in the coordinate plane. Alright, we need to translate the red triangle in the image right here 3 units to the right, okay, and 3 units down. We want to know what the coordinates of the new image are going to be. So we start with our pre-image ABC. We see that A is at, right now, it is at -2, comma 1. We're going to move it 3 units to the right, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 units down, 1, 2, 3, and that puts our new coordinate at 2, comma 1. Next we'll go to point B. We'll move it 3 to the right, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 units down, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we started at 2, comma 5, and we ended up at 5, comma 2. And then for C, we started out at at 1, comma 2, and then we're going to move over 1, 2, 3 to the right, and then 3 down, 1, 2, 3, and that's going to leave us at 4, comma -1. All right, take a minute, copy that down, and then we'll move on to example 3. All right, for example 3, translating a figure using coordinates, we're going to do the same thing we did in example 2, except we are going to use a table to help us out. So the vertices of a square are so point A would be at 1, comma -2, 1, comma -2. B is at 3, comma -2. C is at 3, comma -4, and D is at 1, comma -4. Okay, so they gave us, let me underline it, they gave us A, B, C, and D. You're going to need to be able to plot these on your own. Okay, and then they want us to draw the figure, so this is the figure, and its image after a translation 4 units left and then 6 units up. So we're going to go 4 units left, except we're going to use our table. So these are the vertices we started with. We're going to subtract 4 because we need to add -4 to each x coordinate. So you subtract 4 from each x coordinate. So we have 1 minus 4 gives us -3. 3 minus 4 gives us -1. 3 minus 4 gives us -1. And then 1 minus 4 gives us -3. Then we need to add 6 to each coordinate because they want us to go 6 units up. 6 units up. So remember, up is positive, down is negative, right is positive, and left is negative. I'll make a slide of that next for you. Okay? So now we have coordinate -2. So -2 plus 6 is 4. -2 plus 6 is 4. -4 plus 6 is 2. And -4 plus 6 is 2. So once we have these new coordinates, we can plot them to create our new image. So we would plot -3, comma 4, and we get A. We would do -1, comma 4 and get B. -1, comma 2 and get C prime, and -3, comma 2 and get D prime. So we did this one algebraically. We did the last one with just the directions. All right, and I'll just give you one more slide after this that shows you which way to go for up, down, left, and right, which is positive and which is negative. Okay? All right, so here's just a little reference for you. If we are moving to the right, it is going to be plus or positive. If we're moving up, it's going to be plus or positive. If we're moving to the left, it's going to be negative. And if we're moving down, it's going to be negative. All right? Take a minute, copy this down in your notes. If you need it, this will be super helpful for you in the future. All right, and then that's all we have. All right, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, comment below with any questions, or bring your questions to class. And please, 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 please turn on notifications so that way you can be updated whenever I post a new video. All right, that's all I got for you. Enjoy. Happy solving.